Would you rather look at the camera or not?
I don't know. I think sometimes to I don't engage with the audience, but really it's just us having a conversation. We're back, part 2. I don't know why this automatically started recording, but it did. We lost battery last time in the middle of our conversation. We were talking about the 86 list, which I don't really want to harp on too much more. We will drop that hashtag in the video description.
And a link to Instagram.
Yeah, and you guys can check that out if you want to, because it's pretty fucked up. But I looked up the last thing we're talking about. It was Adam leaving Arcadia. So I'm assuming you left because of all the shit that was happening.
So no, actually,
okay.
It wasn't because of that. It was more, I don't know if the pastry chef liked me that much. I'm not gonna lie. She made up some story about how the head chef wanted, he wanted me to, I guess, not be there. I don't know, or thought that there was too many people on that station, whatever. So she's made up some story, but I think it was mainly her that didn't want me there. It was mainly my first pastry job. So, I mean, obviously I made mistakes and whatnot, but it was my first one. So,
yeah, I mean, that's kind of on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew your resume when you applied.
I had
so
no prior experience.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy. You know where I started when I had no prior experience? Schnucks, a grocery store in the bakery department.
Yeah. So,
and you jumped into what? 2-star?
Yeah, it was a 2-star restaurant.
Yeah, that's
Michelin star restaurant for pastry.
That's
so there was a high expectation of that. I learned a lot though. It was cool. I learned how to do quenelles a lot, which is a type of it's like a nice little pretty shape of, it's like a football shape. So you would do ice creams and things like that in that way for plating, and you got to do all the artsy stuff. So it was cool.
Do you like to do the pastry stuff now, as a hobby, or not so much?
I don't do it as much. I would say I do more bread and baking, stuff like that.
Yeah, I know you're about that sourdough life.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's a whole day process.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, you have to sit at home for at least 5 or 6 hours trying to do it.
For one loaf?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And now at Arcadia, we did fresh bread almost every service. So I had to do that every fucking day.
Okay. So you kind of got good at it.
Yeah. So it would be a whole process. You would go in and the first thing you would do is get the starter, start mixing it into the dough or into the flour and make the whole dough. And then you would have to let it rise or ferment for an hour and a half. Then you'd have to stretch and fold the thing, let it rise again for another hour and a half. So anytime you were letting it rise, you weren't just standing there. You were doing all this other shit.
See, that's what's crazy to me, because you talk about how intensive it is to do the process, but when I worked at Schnucks, everything was already pre-frozen, but we still had to do parts of that process. We had to pull it out the day before, let it thaw out, and then in the morning you would come in and we put it inside the proof box. So it would artificially raise the bread up, but you had to still know what you were doing, because if you overproofed it, the bread would just fall in the oven. If you underproofed it, it wouldn't look right. So there was still some sort of technique required, but it's crazy how they replicate the natural process and just speed it up. I guess it's all the chemicals inside of the bread, or I don't know.
For big production.
Yeah. I mean, I did all the donuts. That's how we did the donuts. Same way, the bagels we proofed in the morning, the bread we proofed in the morning. Pretty much anything we had to bake or fry, we proofed it.
How long did you proof it for?
Oh God. Dude, 30 minutes to an hour. Just depends. Actually, sometimes I feel less. Bagels, I feel we're 20 minutes.
Yeah. Some of them, if they're smaller pieces of something, then it won't take as long.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, I feel it would probably still be similar. I don't know. I don't know what they do exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly fun. When I first started baking, it sucked. I hated getting up at fucking 1 a.m. to go to work. Shout out to Schnucks, because they're one of the only restaurant chains that actually, if you want to get as close to a real bakery shop as possible in a commercial setting, I feel Schnucks is probably it. but I was young and I was like, this sucks. I didn't want to do it. But like,
Remember
then,
those days?
yeah, then something happened, man. Just something like clicked in my brain and I got good. I got good at doing it. And that's when it would like started to become fun. Like I used to make fire donuts, dude. The best bagels, the prettiest bread. That's what I loved about baking and cooking and shit. Cause like the final product looks so good.
Yeah.
And when somebody looks at your bread and they're like, damn, that looks good. Or like they eat a donut and they're like, this tastes great. Like, I don't know. There's something about that is awesome.
I always tell people if I cook for them, that's my love language. So it's like I put a lot of time and effort in that.
Exactly.
And so if I do that for you, I care about you.
Yeah.
I remember those days at Schnucks though.
Yeah,
like, dude, you fucking hated it, but at the same time,
I did.
you were waking up so fucking early for that.
Yeah, it sucked.
Did you manage it?
Yeah, yeah.
I was say
It only took me like once I got my shit together and like actually started caring and doing a good job and like going to work all the time and shit because I was young. We were just talking about this with like calling off for stupid ass reasons and just not showing up, being a shitty employee. Shout out to the people that are watching this that are young. Don't be me. Go to work and do your job. Because when I did that, my manager, like within a year, I was assistant manager. And then like a year after that, I got management. So like, yeah, just do a good job.
what's one of the funniest? Do you have any funny stories of somebody calling off that most ridiculous?
Yeah, recently at Buffalo Wild Wings. I think I told you about the kid with the cat.
The cat.
Yeah, dude, this kid, so they're 16. Okay, him and his girlfriend both worked there. They're cashiers. He calls in the day before because his cat's sick. Okay. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I wasn't on duty that day. It was the other manager. I'm like, whatever, that's fine. Then the next day we have like a snowstorm. Roads are bad. Okay, so he calls in again, but it's not about the snow. It's about he had to put his cat down, so he's like sad. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Can your girlfriend work? You're like, can Ariel still come into work? She's on the schedule. And he's like, no, I'm a ride. And I'm like, you do know what a ride is, right? You just like bring her to work and then you can leave. And then he's like, well, then in that case, we could both come in. And I'm like, so you didn't really need to be off work or what's going on here? And I was like, don't even worry about it. I already got your schedule. Like I already got your shift covered. Just don't even come in. And then like yesterday was Thursday. I had another cashier call in and she's like, I got an ear infection. I can't come in. I'm going to go to the doctor. And I'm like, okay, can you like go to the doctor, get some medicine and like still come in? Because Thursdays are busy as hell, dude. It's BOGO. Buy one, get one free on boneless. Like, dude, we got slammed. And it's just stuff like that, you know, but they're young. Like they don't care. They don't care.
There's one thing that I could say that would be different for like higher restaurants and maybe most restaurants in general. I don't know. Most of those workers will work through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have watched one guy on the line throwing up in the trash can and we were like, yo, you gotta go. Like you are legit sick.
Right.
And like, you can't be working with food.
Exactly.
And he was really trying to stay.
Exactly.
And I'm like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here. Like
Exactly.
that, we can't have that. There was one time, I mean, I was kind of the same way where it would be better, like in a chef's mind, if you came into work sick and they sent you home.
100%.
Because that shows that you actually came in, you wanted to work, you wanted to do what you could for the restaurant, for the team, everything like that. But if they thought you were bad enough, they would send you home.
Right. And I think that's what it is. Like, I don't care that like you go home, but you're fucking everyone else.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
You have a team. Like that's what I try to emphasize when I first started here because it seemed like there was a lack of like teamwork. And I'm like, you guys had to understand, like we're a team here. Like we have to all help each other. And when people are calling in, not showing up, like you're literally fucking everyone, like your friends, you're fucking your friends over.
Yeah. You're basically in restaurants. You do not get to, basically save something for the next day. Like you have, once you come in, you have your prep list ready. You have it ready to go. That's what you have to do that day. If you do not show up, somebody else now has to pick up what you were supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And that's what happens. And that's what really sucks. Cause like you can be going into work and like if you're the other person and your coworker calls in, you could be going into work. You'd be like, yeah, I'm going to have a great day, blah, blah, blah. So-and-so didn't show up. And you're like, fuck.
Full whole day. Fuck.
Now
dude.
I have to pick up all their stuff too. Like now the team has to pick up on all of their stuff piled on to whatever they had to do. So that's where it becomes hard. Or if a dishwasher calls in.
Dude, we don't get a dedicated dishwasher. We don't do enough business. So like I have to pull cooks off the line for like 15 minutes at a time, have them do dishes and then come back and swap them out. It's annoying.
It sucks at times.
Yeah.
Like that's why I think that a lot of people should work in restaurants or should work in some sort of service industry, because you have to understand that you are not above anyone else on that aspect. You're not above doing dishes. You're not above doing anything else like that. So you have to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, dude, I'm in management. I'll be in there taking out trash. I'll wash dishes. One night I was washing dishes for 4 hours. Like you gotta, like you said, you're not above anyone else. It's a team thing.
Yeah.
Like, and people, I said something about this the other day, but like people respect the managers who actually get in the trenches and are helping the team doing shit that they do. Like, so I'm very, but like you said, it just comes from working that shit position. And you know it sucks, like if somebody calls in or whatever. So it's like you don't want your team to like bear that full load, because then you know their whole day is just shit. And then that was the thing too. Like, when you worked in the kitchen, did you guys have like when you would come in like a closing shift list or like a prep list, like so and so's on this station, so and so's on this station. You're doing this tonight. You're doing this tonight.
Whenever I worked in most restaurants, everyone had their station itself, so it wasn't like somebody from the salad station was going and working saute.
Okay.
That wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Because you have to work your way up for that.
Okay.
But for the most part, everyone had their station. Did they want you to cross train? Yeah, they do. Because like, I mean, if a saute cook calls out and that was the only saute cook that you had, what are you gonna do?
Right. Somebody's got to know something.
Somebody's got to fucking step up and do it.
Yeah.
So it would be better to have everyone cross trained to be able to do every station.
Yeah. I brought that up because like we were talking about with people calling in and you got to take up responsibilities and it just like fucks your day up. But my regional manager was like, it's important to we put out a lineup sheet every day that shows like who's coming into the kitchen, where their station is going to be at, and then what their cut work is at the end of the night. And he's like, it's better if you have that already preset. So that way, whenever so-and-so walks in at 4:00, they go, I'm doing fryers tonight. Okay, that sucks, but I know I got to do it. Instead of like at 8 p.m., you just got fucked for 2 hours on the dinner rush. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, Joe, you got to do fryers tonight. And he's like, what the fuck? You know? So I just was curious if like high-end kitchens kind of did the same thing, but like you said, they have it's just a set station. So it's always the same.
It's usually a set station. The higher kitchens, as in Michelin kitchens, will usually have a floater within the kitchen. So that guy can literally...
we do too.
As in like
he'll float to anybody that needs help or like dropping shit.
That's honestly what helps the most is that like if you are in the weeds and there's no one to do that for you, it sucks
it's
even
rough.
worse.
Dude, it's rough.
And so if you can have a floater come around and be able to pick up certain things that need to be done, then your kitchen moves a lot smoother. So
a big problem with tickets, and I know you know a lot about tickets.
Oh boy.
That's a huge issue with tickets, like especially boating in the window, and like people will just start throwing random shit, and you got 10 tickets here, and you're like, so now I'm trying to boat everything to say like this is 10 boneless, whatever. I have to label it all, then send it down to the shake station. Okay, well then the shake station is throwing random shit in here, and I got Grill and I got Southwest, and they're just throwing random shit in the window, and it's like, dude, I can't boat plus organize all these tickets to match them to the thing. So it's like usually one of the best spots for a floater for us is to have him basically standing right next to me in Expo and just like reading tickets and setting orders up.
Yeah. So then it can be ran quickly as possible. Yeah. There's since we're talking tickets, I'll tell you about a style of kitchen that is one of the hardest fucking styles of kitchen to work in. It is called French Brigade, and oh my god, you have to. So for the audience, this will be an interesting one. It is not a very common style within restaurants, but in higher end restaurants it can be. So basically, what it is you have an expo. And they get the ticket, but the cooks do not. They don't get a ticket to read off of. So a lot of tasting menus will actually do this, and it is very challenging. the cooks have to know what table is on what. So if the ticket comes in and it is a 5 to 10 course menu that you have at the restaurant, there will be a station that has the first course, third course, let's say fifth course, or first, second, and let's say fifth. And then another station will have 2 and 4. And another station will have like 6 and 8 and 10. And then another one will have like 7 and whatever fucking other number, 9. So all the stations have to know what, basically the expo will be like, the first course for table this went out. So then once you hear that, the person that has the second course knows that table is now on their second course. So you have to start plating that or getting ready to send that out when it's time. Now take that and times it by however many tables you have within the dining room. So that first table could be on course 1, or let's say they're on course 3. The second table that sat down at 6:15 is now on course 1. The third table that sat down at 6:20 is on course 1. So it's like, and then depending on how quickly people eat or anything like that, or how quick the service goes, like it's all different time frames. And so you have to memorize what table is at what.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's hard.
I can tell you right now, that's insane.
It's fucking hard. And I got my ass kicked at the last one that I worked at. And that is one of the hardest ways of working.
Yeah.
And they want to do that because they want the expo to have as much control over the kitchen as possible. So
that is the spot.
And
like expo dictates the fucking kitchen 1000%. And we right now do not have anyone in our kitchen that is strong at expo.
It is hard. Like expo is literally the filter between front of the house and back of the house. They have the control of what goes on in the back of the house. And so in the higher end restaurants, they have an expo that is very, very good. Very good at organization, very good at knowing your allergies, what person. So for every dining table, there is a number. So whatever, it could be seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, seat 4, seat 5. So the expo has to also know that seat 2 is allergic to shellfish. Can't send shellfish to that person. So then everyone else can, but if there's any other aversions or allergies, they have to know.
Right.
So they have to make sure that anything that gets sent out does not have shellfish on it.
We have it's called purple sticker. So like when people come in with allergies, yeah, we put the purple sticker on it, and then that has to be carried out separately from all the other food, and then someone, typically a manager, runs that plate to the table.
Yeah. It is fucking challenging.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like that's something that a lot of people in generalization in the public do not understand.
Yeah.
Is that like for every seat that you're in, you are a number. They will usually put your allergies down, things like that. Another thing is that all food has to come up at the same time. That is a hard one for a lot of kitchens.
We talked about that the other night.
But that is another thing that happens. All food has to come up at the same time. So if all of your food is hot, it all came up at the same time. Mm-hmm. But it can be challenging.
That's what I kind of like about when you're saying like the rest of the kitchen doesn't get a ticket. That's what I would kind of like, because these guys that are working the grill and they're working the Southwest, which aren't as busy as the wing stations, don't understand. It's like, yeah, you can pump your shit out, but like it's now going to be sitting in my window for 6 minutes before the traditional wings are up. So it's like, I kind of wish that I could not have them get tickets and I could wait 6 minutes and say, hey, you need a, All-American, whatever. Or if there was a way I had a button where I could just like send their ticket at a certain time. And the KDU screens, that's what they do automatically. Like it times it out. So when an order comes in, let's say it has traditional wings on it, so it'll send that traditional wing order to the wing station, and they'll drop those wings, and the system will automatically wait 6 minutes before it ever sends the hamburger over to the grill station. So it takes the necessity out of you time managing people because it does it for you.
That's weird.
Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's super expensive.
So,
it costs like $35,000. But I broke it down to my regional manager. And I'm like, dude, if we had one of these machines, I could get rid of a cook 1,000%. And the kitchen would run more efficiently and we'd be down a cook. And I was like, it would pay for itself in a year. Like literally it would pay for itself in a year.
Maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have ticket times, don't you?
What do you mean?
As in like how quickly the food goes out. So like
it says a promise time, yeah, on the ticket.
I was gonna say because that's a big thing in restaurants too. Like
but you
can't be having like 5 to 10 minute tickets,
dude. Okay, so we have 15 minutes. Like according to Buffalo Wild Wings, SOP is 15 minutes, but that's because traditional wings take 12 minutes to cook. So like usually you don't want to make everything.
Are they fucking dead by then?
No, like they take 12 minutes to cook
really?
just in the thing, and then you can sit them for like I think 15 or 16 minutes inside of a warmer drawer before they're dead. So basically, as long as we're not busy, we cook to order because our store is not that bad. So. And that's what I try to tell people. Like, when you see all these tickets come up, it's like, just chill out, dude. You got 15 minutes. Like, that's the longest anything will take. Just do ticket by ticket. Take it as, obviously in a timely manner, but you can take your time,
There would be, so this might be something like, what's the longest thing that you guys cook on your tickets? What
wings.
Wings?
Yeah.
Are the longest?
Yeah. 12. Boneless take 6.5. Like wedges take 4 minutes, 4:30. Fries take 4. Tots take like 3:30. And then all the appetizers, onion rings, fried pickles, mod sticks, those take 2.5 minutes. And again, comes back to the thing where you're like cooking shit in time because you'll have a mod stick on a bill and they'll be like, all right, dropping mods. It's like, no, give me like 8 minutes, bro. Chill.
Yeah.
Like,
your grill guys should definitely not be dropping burgers.
And burgers, burgers take like 3 minutes to make.
Yeah, it's definitely not right.
Yeah, from start to finish.
It's kind of weird because usually most restaurants are backwards on that. Like
the grills take.
Grills take the longest because you have like steaks, you have
yeah, we don't got all that.
The sirloin steaks, you'll have fucking fish, things like that always take a lot longer. So it's usually the Garmo station or salad station that's usually dropping wings and stuff. That takes less time. But another thing that could be done in those situations is, and I don't know if you guys even do it, partially cooking the wings before then, so then it cuts down on your cooking time.
Yeah, we usually only blanch wings for Super Bowl 1 time a year. That's it.
See, I mean, I'm never opposed to doing it, but
yeah. I mean, if you're good, like whoever's in expo window, if they're good, and you know your business, you can kind of like, because everything is a trend. Like honestly, if I pull up my sales report, like same day last year, I looked at the numbers. We were up by $200 from last year. So it was basically identical on that day to a year ago. So like every day is pretty much the same. So like once your expo figures out like how the business goes usually, what time people come in, what typically they order on, Thursday night, how many boneless you go through, you can have, they'll say, I got whatever walking in. Okay, well, I know I'm probably going to have another, 2 or 3 more customers or 2 or 3 more tables walk in here in a minute. Hey, pre-drop me 2 bags of wings. We're going to need them in 20 minutes or we're going to need them in 15 minutes. So it's like you never really run out. But also we have that 15-minute timer. So if I'm in Expo, as soon as a ticket comes up, I'm calling out, hey, I got 15 wings walking in, 20 boneless, a mod stick, whatever. And they'll be like, heard that, drop it. So like as soon as I'm calling tickets out, you should be dropping everything and I'm plating it down. So it should all be working its way back as the tickets came in. And we should really never have a wait time, or longer than 15 minutes, but we do. And then sometimes like the chip guy will like try to argue with me and it's like, dude, I'm literally looking at the tickets and calling out the numbers.
The chip guy.
Yeah, they call it chip and shake. Chip is the guy who drops everything into the thing. But if you have a good chip guy, he'll be paying attention. As soon as he hears that printer go off, he'll fucking ghost up behind you, look and see what's on there, and he's already running back to the thing to drop it. You don't even got to call it out. And I got one of those guys and he's my fucking favorite.
Do you do all days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll load up. If they're coming in fast enough, I got like 4 or 5 tickets that just popped up. Yeah, I'll do all day. Yeah.
I was like, that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
Because fucking, there's been so many times where I'm on the grill and I'm like, chef, I need an all day. Like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Yeah. I got a medium steak coming and blah, blah, blah. And it sucked. Yeah. Whenever you, like, sometimes even the chef would be so far in the weeds that they're like, I can't give you an all day right now. Like, the ticket machine just keeps going and going.
Dude, that's me on Expo sometimes because, like, I'm still not, like, I'm only 8 weeks in, right? And I've only ran Expo window probably, dude, 15 shifts maybe. So it's like, I'm still not that great and I'm still learning out my own system of like how to do things. So like I'm picking up from people. One guy did show me like, hey, throw all your tickets up here and then work left to right and then like boat your ticket, swing it over to the left and then and that way it's in order, which helped me a lot. But it's still that thing of like I have to figure out how to organize the window to where I can fill orders with looking at the ticket as fast as possible. And when you have a KDU, it'll say on the screen, you got whatever order in zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then all the ledges are labeled zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whoever the server is on the other side, we don't do the orders for them. The servers find the food and they plate their order on the other side, but their ticket will say zone 7, boom, boom, boom. So they can just walk over to zone 7. Oh, hey, here's my 3 things that I need. Boom, out. It's a game changer, dude. It is way easier, I will say.
I've only worked at one place that actually had those, and I didn't even get one.
What?
I didn't even get the screen. I was on pastry.
Yeah.
We didn't get one.
Yeah.
All the other guys on the line got one.
See,
pastry got fucked.
Wentzville is like a pilot store for it. They're one of the first people because they do the most business next to St. Charles. But they have one for Expo. They have one for Shake. And then Chip has their own screen. And then Grill and Southwest have a screen. So like literally every station gets a screen. It's not fair. It's not fair, dude. It makes it so much easier. And St. Charles does almost as much as Wentzville, but they still run tickets. And I'm like, they have like 10-year veterans over there though. So like the people in that kitchen, that's like a well-oiled machine that they're rocking over at that store. I've never been there, but the new guy we just got, the bar manager, that's where he trained at. And the regional manager told me the other day, he's like, you got spoiled. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you trained in Wentzville. And he's like, I mean it in a good way because like the GM over there, the regional manager came from Wentzville. So he was the manager of Wentzville's store, and the GM that works there now was the kitchen manager, got promoted to AGM, and then took his spot. So like that's basically the regional manager's like focus is Wentzville. So it's a training store, and I went over there and I worked with the guy, and he's just really good at his job, and like he does everything. I don't want to say everything, but almost everything to procedure. So it's like when I came to Mid Rivers, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Like, no one's doing anything right. And I'm constantly complaining to the regional manager. And he's like, dude, that's when he was like, you're spoiled. And I'm like, dude, it's really not though, because like, I'm not asking anybody to do anything beyond what is supposed to be required of them to do according to your standards. Like in the book, that's what I love about Buffalo Wild Wings, dude. Everything is micromanaged. Like I was telling you the other night, you could literally pull a guy off the street, throw him in that kitchen back there, and he could make a meal. It would take him a second, but there's labels on everything. Everything is labeled, build guides, cook times, literally how to do everything is in the back of that store. And the same way is set up for every single thing in the store, from management down to cooks. Like everyone has a guide. It's literally the most micromanaged thing, and you would not think of it when you think of like sports bar. Because when I first started, I was like, sports bar is gonna be fucking chaotic. You know, people are just doing whatever. Like, and I started doing the tests and the training and all that, and I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like, I'm OCD, so like micromanaging, I love it. Like, you have to take the error. That's what I always say. You have to remove the option for failure. And Buffalo Wild Wings has done that as long as you follow the procedures. You can't fail. It's literally written step by step for everything, but people are still failing. So it's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. It's Wild Wings, bro. I will say I've never worked in the kitchen. Like I've never worked in a kitchen environment. I worked in KFC when I was like 16. It's not even comparable.
Yeah.
But like it's fucking fun. Like some days I hate my job, but it's one of the only jobs. I know I just said I hate my job, but like I'll go to work and it's like I'm not thrilled to be there, but at the same time usually I don't hate it until like something happens, you know, where that 7:30 rush comes in and your kitchen's being slow and now tickets are backed up 20 minutes, customers are complaining and shit. That's when it starts to suck. But like it's always busy. Usually people are chill, you know, they're shooting shit with each other. Everybody's, you know, fucking off and like, you know, making fun of each other, and it's kind of like a real camaraderie, you know, style. And that's what I like about it.
The one thing I like about it, there's no HR. I'm just kidding. If there was an HR though.
Dude, no, they say that. The very first test that you take when you go there is sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And something, I can't remember what the other one was, but they were super fucking long, okay? And I walk into the back room and it's like, yeah, no one watched these videos.
No.
No one watched these videos.
It never happens.
Yeah.
Like, there is so many sexual harassment things that could be said. There was a girl, which this could even be debated at some point. Okay. So there was this girl, she was lesbian, and so she decided she would always talk in such a way to the servers in like a more sexual way.
Okay.
And
So like the
no
female
one would
servers?
bat a fucking eye. No one would say anything.
But if it was a dude,
But if it was a guy, then it's an issue. Then it's a problem. Then it's a sexual harassment thing. So I'm like, this doesn't seem very fair.
right.
But I mean, yeah, the cooks and the fucking servers do flirt around a lot. They do their little hookups. That's always the fun ones, is the drama in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All the cooks will be like, dang, she's so attractive. Like as she's walking out, like they'll be like, damn. A lot of them will do things like that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. I've dated within the restaurant before. Not a very good idea.
I mean, I
But-
feel like it happens, dude. You're fucking stuck with these people
Yeah.
for 40 plus hours a week. It kind of just happens.
Yeah, it's probably the most people you see throughout the whole week.
Dude, okay, I could tell you some stories based on that. Okay, but you're talking about sexual harassment. So, I mean, just last night, one of the bartenders like whipped out her phone and was like showing one of the servers a fucking dick pic. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she didn't ask to see it. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, that can be construed as sexual harassment. Just so you're aware, if she wanted to report you, she most definitely could. Because it's unsolicited.
Yeah.
Like, but like you're saying with the workplace relationships, dude, whenever I came here, this store has gone through 4 GMs. Okay. In a year, 2 of them got fired for having sexual relations with hourly employees. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, which is frowned upon. The hourly employees with the hourly employees, that's whatever. We don't really care about that as long as there's like no PDA at work. We don't really give a shit. There's no rules, regulations against that sort of thing. But there is a very strict policy between managers and hourly employees. Like we're not even supposed to like add these people on fucking social media platforms and like hang out with them outside of work. Cannot do it. So they told me they got a kitchen manager, I think is what he was. He was there for 2 weeks. Okay. And he, I guess, made buddy with some of the people in the kitchen. They invited him over to their house. Okay. Rule number 1, not supposed to hang out with the hourly employees outside of work. Okay. So then he goes over there. And I guess there was one of our underage employees. She was 16. I think she still is 16. She still works there. But they ended up hooking up, apparently. So we'll say allegedly. Allegedly, because the underage employee like ran into the room, I guess, and shouted it to the other 2 employees because they all worked there.
How's the jam?
28. And this girl's 16. So he's something like that. He's like too old. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Yikes. So he wasn't a GM. Oh, wait. Maybe he was. No, he was a regular manager. He was just manager.
Oh.
So she runs into the room after this happens or whatever, and she's like, hey, I just got laid or whatever she said. I don't know the thing behind it. You know, she's 16. Okay, so then the next day, she's got that Riz, bro. The next day, she comes in to the office, and the two people that like hosted the party were like, they went to the GM and they're like, hey, like, we gotta fucking talk to you, right? And so they tell her the story, and she's like, I'm not really sure like what to do. So like she confronts the guy. Okay, well, luckily she's like texting with him, and he never admits to sleeping with this girl. The girl never admits to sleeping with him, so all they have is hearsay. Okay, but he did admit to going over to the house and hanging out with them. So that's how they fucking ended up getting him fired. Actually, they didn't even get him fired. They transferred him to another store. And then it's kind of like the fucking Vatican moving around pedophiles. I swear to God, dude. So they move him to another store and demote him. Okay, well, the two girls there's like some cashiers. He comes in there, and immediately they like tell our GM. Now they're like, we don't fucking like this guy. Like, we're going to watch this dude and we're going to get him fired. And it took him like 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks. I can't remember what he did, but they ended up getting him fired. And like, dude, the GM we had before this, okay, or maybe she was a manager too. She might have been a GM. I think she was a GM. She was hooking up with one of the cooks in the fucking walk-in.
Hell yeah.
Walk-in during store hours. Like, so they got caught doing that. Somebody walked in and saw them. And they both just walked out off the line and walked out of the store and never came back.
Nice.
And so that was that one. And then, dude, I heard so much shit about this store already. And I told the regional, I'm like, dude, this place is, what the fuck is, it's literally the Wild West, dude. So the other one they had before this, apparently like he was a good employee, good worker. He got the opportunity to be a GM. Boom. He turns into GM, lasts like a fucking month. All of a sudden, this guy falls off the deep end, starts doing meth. Okay. So now he's coming in. He's showing up like 3 hours late to open. The cook's like just sitting outside in his car, can't get in. Okay. So he calls the regional one time, and he's like, oh, you know, he'll be there. He finally shows up. So then he goes inside. And no, he left. He waited like 2 hours, and he's like, I'm fucking going home. And then finally the guy shows up, and they're like calling his phone, like, hey, where you at? And he's like, dude, I'm not coming in. Good luck. And so like it happens again. But this time the regional manager is there, and he's waiting for the GM to show up. Dude shows up like 2 hours late, and he doesn't say shit to him. Okay. Just lets it slide. So that's not great. And then he would tell me like they'd be busy during like a lunch rush or like a dinner rush or whatever, and the fucking GM would be in the office like literally sleeping, bro. Literally sleeping at the desk. And so again, guy still not fucking fired somehow. Who knows? Okay. And then they catch the motherfucker on camera stealing all the tips from the servers and the cashiers, bro. And then the GM says everybody gets a second chance.
Bro, how many fucking things do you have to do to get a second chance?
Dude.
How big's your first chance? Dude. Like, apparently it's fucking massive.
Dude.
You get so many chances in your first chance, but then once it hits that second chance,
dude,
you get
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. He doesn't get fired for that. Doesn't get demoted. Okay. Oh, finally, I cannot remember what he does. He does something to finally get fired. Okay. And we're going to say allegedly. Allegedly, this guy comes back in a trash bag and robs the fucking store. Okay. After he gets fired. And they did not arrest him because they couldn't prove it.
He was still on his first chance.
Couldn't prove it, dude. They said they couldn't prove it. Even though everybody's like, he's wearing the same fucking shoes in the video anymore when he worked here.
Just show up in your fucking uniform next time, bud. They will never know.
Dude.
They'll think you work there.
Yeah, I might have to edit this shit out of the box. Especially that last one. I don't know if I can get in trouble for that one, but it's fucking insane, dude. It's literally insane.
Restaurants are lawless.
Exactly. Literally lawless. I mean, it goes back to what we were fucking talking about with the GM of fucking Arcadia or whatever. It's like people just think they can fucking do whatever.
Yeah. There was I don't know this person. One of my friends knows this story. He would literally watch a guy do whippets on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Just
dude.
take the ISI container and fucking just take it straight to the dome. And like he would just be doing whippets all night.
That is awesome.
And like he literally helped him one time take out all the fucking cartridges off of his line to go take them out to the trash before the chef saw him.
Oh my god, dude.
He's like, bro, we can't let the chef see. Here's a 4-quart container with all of them in there. Like, I've been saving them up all week.
Dude, that is hilarious.
Dude, I'm like, what the fuck?
I guess that they're just so down bad for fucking employees that like they just let so much shit slide.
I guess so.
Like there's no other explanation.
Like
I'm not that way though. Like, dude, I wrote up the two cashiers last night. I wrote them up. They gave them a written though because that's what the GM wanted to fucking do. I told them straight up. I said the GM's nicer than me. If it was up to me, I would have written you both up. Like we've already had this conversation about PDA like multiple times.
Oh, they did it again?
Yeah. So, and we've had not customers but other employees file complaints about seeing it multiple times. The new GM or the new manager we just got like 2 days ago was like, yeah, I seen those two doing whatever. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like that was when I lost it. I was like, we have to write them up.
Yeah.
Like this is unacceptable. So like I'm in the point, I will fucking fire you and I'll do your job myself. Like I'm not going to put up with that shit.
I don't understand. How the hell do you just start deciding that I'm going to make out session?
Literally, they will be on Outside Expo fucking making out in front of people. One girl said that like the one was like grabbing his ass like at the. I'm like, what in the hell, dude? I don't know. Horny 16-year-olds, I guess. I chalk it up.
Bro.
It's insane. It's insane.
Let's see.
And that's sexual harassment. And I explained that to them the first time we talked to them.
Yeah,
we're like, that's sexual harassment. Like you guys might be consenting to it, but everyone else around you is not.
Yeah.
So like you're committing sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And that could be a problem for us.
Yep. I'll say I've never actually dealt with that before. Never
Like in
had
the workplace?
in the workplace.
Damn.
I've not seen that.
Damn.
But like
Only where I'm at, dude. Wild West. We are the true fucking Wild West, dude.
but
People vaping in the stores, people hitting fucking THC carts on the line on the Outside Expo. One kid hit his fucking vape in the lobby it was on Super Bowl day. Lobby full of customers waiting to get their orders. He's just hitting a vape at the cashier's register.
Yeah, just come on in, buddy.
Bartenders hitting their vape, giving it to people and shit. Like, dude, it just drives me fucking nuts, dude.
I know where I'm going for a vape then.
Yeah, seriously. Just stop on by the bar, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. She'll tell you when to come in.
That's fucking funny. Let's see. The some of the crazy stories that I've heard or have seen are this was a good one. This is one reason why I'm doing the charity. Because
oh yeah, okay, let's talk about that for a second. So what is the charity? What's it called? What are you guys doing?
So it's called Temperance Kitchen, and we're doing a charity for Ben's Friends. It is a organization that helps restaurant workers with drugs and alcohol addictions. And sometimes I think about it to myself. I'm like, if I'm doing this charity, like, should I not be drinking alcohol? Because like I'm for like the whole mindset of it is to help restaurant workers with drinking and drugs, but I don't consider myself addicted.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm like, I feel like I could do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, have a beer every now and then, smoke a little weed, whatever. I don't feel like I necessarily.
It doesn't dictate. Yeah, it doesn't dictate your life.
So I feel like I don't think it's like hypocritical of me to be drinking or smoking a little bit of weed every now and then. Like it doesn't take over.
So. Yeah, you're responsible about it.
That's one thing that I kind of thought about, and then I was like, you know what? Nah, that's not me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically, it is to help restaurant workers and servers, things like that, with their addictions and stuff like that. Because in this industry, that is one of the biggest problems, is drugs and alcohol. And the reason why is because you work long hours, you work ridiculous times. Whenever you get off work, you just worked a 12-hour shift. It's Saturday. Let's say you're off on Sunday. Your Sunday's your day off. What do you want to go do? Like, you just got done working. Your weekend's about to start. You go to a bar. You go have fun with the people that you work with. And so that was a lot of the times at Next. I would do is our last day would be Sunday. Then literally that night, we'd be breaking down our stations and everything and just pounding beers at that point. And like cleaning as we're cleaning and drinking at the same time.
Dude, I wish we could do that at work.
Dude, it was actually pretty cool.
We get fired.
It was actually pretty cool. And that's another reason why I was telling you about how whenever I go and visit restaurants, like good restaurants, I'll bring beer and snacks because that's something that they get to do.
Yeah.
Especially with Next, people throughout the whole week would bring us beer in and we would save it until Sunday. So then whenever Sunday came along, we had those giant containers and we would be like breaking down and somebody's like, go get the ice and water. Like, we're going to fill this shit up. We're going to get our beers cold. And so like, then
you guys always close early on Sundays?
No, we did not.
You didn't?
Not there.
Okay. We do.
Because Sundays were our deep cleaning days.
Oh, okay.
Every single week you would.
Yeah, I'd want to get hammered too for that shit.
Dude. Well, we would do that actually before service and then just work clean throughout the whole service. And then once it came down to it, like the end of it, then we would break our station down like we normally would, wrap everything, do everything like that, and scrub everything in and out. Very, very clean kitchens. We even got the little, I think I saw a Snapchat of yours where you had the gaskets on the low boys. Like there was, I think I saw you cleaning them at some point.
Yeah,
or something
probably.
like that. And we did that every single week. Everything was always clean. There was racks, took them out, cleaned them, do whatever. But we would always have beer. And there was one night where we were taking shots and drinking beer down in our prep kitchen. And then people were like, hey, we should go out to the bar. Well, I hopped in the car with one of my friends, or with a bunch of our friends. And that guy had like 3 or 4 shots before driving, and he wasn't very good. So we were about to miss our exit on the highway in Chicago, and he just like went from fucking the left lane like all the way over, and we smoked the curve.
Oh shit!
And fucking airbags went off, and like I think I smacked my head on the window a little bit. Nothing, no damage or anything done to me, but he also had some Gatorade, and so I'm sitting there and he's like, well, we know the cops are going to come. And I was like, yeah, you better start drinking that Gatorade so they don't smell your fucking breath. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. So he started drinking, and he's like, and so for me, I was just like, all right, well, I was like, are you guys all good? Like, we're pretty solid, right? And I was like, I'm going to go get an Uber to the bar. So I left the scene of an accident and just went to the bar to meet all the other people that were going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And so then...
allegedly. He allegedly left the scene of an accident to go to the bar.
So we went, and that sounds terrible now that I think about it.
I mean, whatever. You weren't driving the fucking vehicle. It's on that guy.
So then I got to the bar, and everyone's like, where's the rest of the guys? And I was like, oh yeah, we got into a car accident on the way here. It's like, how the fuck did you make it here? And I was like, oh, I got an Uber.
No one's sticking around for that shit.
Well, you guys didn't think I was going to show up? You think a car accident's going to stop me from drinking my beer? No, so we went there, and yeah, that's kind of like what it is like after you get off work, all your buddies are at a bar, all of your friends that you work with or do anything with are at some sort of bar or a late night food place. And so everything was late night, and you would have like anything that's open at the times that you get off is either fast food or bars, and that's all you get.
Yep.
And so it's very easy to get sucked into that kind of life. And so I think that that's why the charity is a good thing for those types of people, because it's very easy to get sucked into.
Definitely.
I've had friends like literally wake up and like I would just hear a bottle of like whatever alcohol they could get and a shot glass just hitting each other, and it would be like 2:00 in the morning, and he just woke up from sleeping, and we could just go and drink that and then just go back to bed.
Damn.
And I'm like, dude, do you know you're addicted now?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something like that where
sure.
you feel like you have to have that to even function, you got a problem. And so I dealt with that a lot with one of my friends, and I believe he is sober now. I haven't talked to him in like a year or so, but from the last time I talked to him, he said he was cut altogether. So good for him.
Hell yeah.
I was really happy hearing that from him, because it was bad. He started puking blood at one point, and I'm like, dude, you gotta like fix this. Like, and at that time he still didn't fix it.
Damn.
And he was still going with it. And eventually it got to a point where he like something clicked and he was like, I gotta stop.
That's what it is. And I mean, I tell people, dude, I've been dealing with addicts all my life. My mom, my dad, my uncle. I mean, I could name so many fucking myself. You're not going to stop until you want to stop. It does not matter, dude. I have my mom had 3 kids. She had 4 grandkids. She was doing drugs until she was fucking 50 years old. After she passed away, I found one of her notebooks and it was like, from her going to a treatment program in like 2021, dude. Damn. She died at 51 years old in 2023. So that was 49 years old. And she was writing in there about how meth was like this big problem. And it like ruined her life and this, that, and the other thing. And so it doesn't matter what you have. Like, unless you want to quit, you're not going to.
Yeah. You have to be able to find that. And
the reason.
It's very hard. And when, like I said before, to other people, is the environment that you put yourself in is going to breed whatever it is that is your problem. So it's like, if you are constantly out at bars, drinking, doing whatever, like, and you have an alcohol problem, that is not the place for you to be.
Exactly.
You have to change your environment. You can't continue going there because that's going to be the problem for you. And if you don't change your environment, you're going to get stuck.
Geez, it's like the thing we talked about with the food. You know, like, I can't buy it. If I have it in my house, I'm going to eat it. Same thing. If you're fucking an alcoholic, don't go to a bar because it's right there. And I said it in my first episode of the podcast. I have that problem. Like, people think I have self-discipline and I have willpower. And I mean, I do to a certain degree, but like, I make it easy on myself by removing myself from those situations. I take the temptation away, and that makes it do tenfold easier to stick to your goals and like stick to not doing drugs and shit. But like right now, even I used to I stopped slowly smoking weed. I would come home, I'd do like a hit at the end of the night, you know, before I go to bed or whatever. Like, I even stopped doing that, but like, it's still in my house. Like, yeah, Forrest still does it, you know, throughout the day, and it's there. Like, I have the option to do it, but I don't need it. I don't need it. Because I feel like, for a lot of people, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I know whenever I'm doing those things, it's because of my situation. I'm either like depressed or sad, or like I'm not feeling like I'm doing enough or something. So instead of like actually doing what I need to do, I just fucking smoke weed, or, you know, I don't really drink alcohol like that. But if I didn't have, there was a time where I would go to the store and I'd buy like a 6-pack and I'd drink it every day for like a couple weeks straight. But that's what I would do. I would just try to basically Band-Aid, forget about it, instead of like actually making proactive changes and choices to better my situation so that I didn't need the alcohol and the drugs. And like at that point, I feel like I'm in a good spot right now, like personally, maybe not professionally because fuck my job, but like it's where like if I do that, I almost get like anxiety because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this anymore. That's literally how I feel every time I get high now. It's like my brain like automatically starts making me paranoid and shit because it's like, yeah, stop doing this. You don't have to do this anymore. Like we're fine right now. So
yeah, it's like, to me, I think that you, like I said before, if it's not in your possession, if it is nowhere near you, you have no desire to actually do it again. Like, I mean, it's like, and you also have to think, what is this actually doing for me? Like, what other problems do I have within my life that this is just band-aiding at this point? Mm-hmm. And it's like, let's say you're, I don't know, you're, what would be a common problem that most people have? Like
job, dude. I would say the number one things are jobs, relationships, and maybe like living conditions. Like those are probably the 3 biggest factors for making people sad. Either you hate your job, you hate the relationship you're in, or you hate where you're like staying.
I would say like you would have to look harder at those problems before going to something like alcohol or drugs. Like you would have to figure out what the actual problem is that you are having and look at that a lot harder And I think that alcohol or any sort of addiction makes it so much easier to get over, where it's like, yeah, this giant problem that I have in life really fucking sucks, but I could just go and smoke weed and drink alcohol and forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, you don't get over it. You just temporarily make it go away.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you're not high or you're not drunk anymore, it comes back. So then guess what you want to do? Go get high and get drunk again.
Yeah.
So it's like you're literally just band-aiding the problem.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to find the root of the issue and you have to fix it or nothing changes.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of times where people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol do have those types of issues. My friend, for example, he had an ex-girlfriend that treated him really badly, and he, for whatever reason, could not get over it. And that's where his alcohol addiction started. And it would be years after the relationship, and he would still be drinking about it. And I'm like, dude, like, you can't, like, that's not a life to live. Like, you either have to figure out a way that doesn't make you think about an ex, or doesn't make you think about this and that, or like trying to figure out like what you can do to fix the way that you're thinking about it. And so it's like he would just constantly be reminded of this girl, and I'm like, dude, like, there's got to be something. And so that's another reason why I go to therapy. Therapy is a good thing. I always think that men should go to therapy for that kind of stuff, because if you can get rid of those types of issues within your life, you can probably get rid of your alcohol and drug addictions. And so, and with that, like, if it's an ex-girlfriend or something like that, that's in your mind.
Right.
Like, you can't, there's nothing you can do physically about that,
right?
Because that person's not there with you anymore. And you do not get the opportunity to actually reach out to them and talk to them about it, because they are an ex of yours. It's in the past, it's done. But for whatever reason, that is still lingering upon you, and there's nothing that you like, there's nothing that she can say that's going to make it better. There's nothing that anything like that can do to make it better. But if you go and talk to somebody about that kind of stuff, it can make it better. And so that's why I don't think that that's why I always think therapy is a good thing for anyone.
I will say too, I just listened to a podcast specifically on like child psychology and child therapy, and they were actually talking about like how it's actually bad. It's doing bad things for kids, because sometimes you don't have to talk about things, but like it's also like the power of suggestion. So like a kid comes in and says, "Oh, I have anxiety," because they heard it, and the therapist is like, "Oh yeah, you have anxiety," and da 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 da, and it just like amplifies the situation. Or like where they have trigger warnings or whatever. There's like studies shown that saying that this is a trigger warning actually starts to give people anxiety just by having that label showing up there,
because they're anticipating what's about to come.
And they were talking about like PTSD with like soldiers. So they said like 19% of Vietnam vets had actually went to combat, but almost 45 to 50% of Vietnam veterans were posting about PTSD. It was like basically, dude, like a mind virus had plagued these guys because they kept hearing about it, that it's like self-induced PTSD, and they never really even experienced anything. And she was talking about how like, I can't remember what country it was, but their soldiers had way less PTSD, and they got over it by saying like, yeah, we understand you went through a traumatic event or whatever, let's deal with it. And then they put them back in with their platoon or their squad or whatever, and kind of like, as fucked up as it is to say, but like, you just got to deal with it. Like, you don't have to repress it, but don't sit here and like dwell on it. Make it your personality, make it everything about you. Like, accept it for what it is, move past it, and like stay busy. That's the best thing I'll tell anyone. Like, what is that saying? Idle hands are the devil's playground. Fucking true, dude. If you got nothing else to do, what are you going to do? You're going to overthink about things, or you're going to go to drugs, go to alcohol, you know, whatever, some vice.
The one thing that you said with children's therapy, I think it's ridiculous unless the child has had a traumatic event,
right?
Then that's 100% okay. But let children be children. Like, why are we putting problems on kids that don't need these problems? Like, I don't understand. Why are we labeling certain things in that way, where it's like, let the kid be a kid? Like, unless there is like some sort of sexual thing that has happened to them,
Right,
they've
physical
seen a
abuse.
death, maybe a car accident, maybe
Right.
something like that.
Right.
Yeah, you can go to therapy and things like that. But if it's something small, why are you putting your kids in therapy for that?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
No. And then you have bad therapists who are like, oh, yeah, this kid's got whatever. I'm going to treat him. But like they're just doing it to get paid.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
it's like that's a good, if you can imagine, if you can get a kid while they're young and then you just keep on, you know, treating them for this entire time, that's a lifelong fucking customer. And there's bad therapists out there, just like there's bad doctors, bad teachers, bad cops, bad whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're just basically, you know, being parasitic off of the system.
The therapist that I go to, I believe he has a child that is before me usually on, because I usually go at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Fridays, and there will usually be a kid that's like leaving as I'm going in. So I think that like I think he does have a child with that, but I always think that should be like a major, like some sort of major issue that has happened to this kid, not an everyday fucking thing.
Right. Johnny doesn't feel good whenever, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Like,
don't need
why
to go
would
to
you do that?
therapist. Yeah. You're making your kid weak. I hate to fucking say it, dude, but you're making your kid weak.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there are certain things that they shouldn't have to talk about or anything like that, but I don't think that a kid playing on a playground or being bullied or something like that is necessarily to go to therapy.
That's what, yeah, she brought specifically bullying. She's like, if someone just like calling you a name or something like that, like that's not valid of like going to therapy. But like if you're going to school and some bully's like beating the shit out of you every day or like something like that, you know, like that's a serious problem.
I think that's more than therapy.
Yeah. But like, you know, a lot of people, they just can't handle simple things.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. All right, real quick, we kind of got off topic there. So let's jump back to the whole
Drugs and alcohol.
the fund. What is it? A fundraiser?
Yeah.
Awareness thing?
Well, it's a charity.
Charity. Okay.
So we did raise $2,000 already for it, and we sold out, which was nice.
Hell yeah.
Very quickly, within like, they said an hour or so.
Damn.
But we also did have limited seating, so that's
Yeah, but that's how you sell.
yeah. And then now we can gauge on the next one that we do, on how popular people want it or how much demand there actually is for it.
When is this thing?
It is in April.
Okay.
April.
So is it like a food truck type of situation, or is there going to be like a venue that people go to?
It's going to be at the Mainlander in St. Louis. It's one of our the guy that owns it. I actually worked with at Bull Rush for a bit. And he worked for Dominic Corinne in LA, another Michelin starred lady. Very good. He's very good himself. So he's letting us use his place to do it.
That's dope.
So it's really cool. It's a really cool inside. They have a bunch of stuff on the walls. It's pretty dimly lit. It's going to be a tasting menu style. So we get to play around a bit. I'm doing... I actually need to work on it next weekend. Is they're called Minard's, and it's basically like a takeaway from the dining experience. So like you get to send people home with stuff, which is always great because like they get to take it home now. Like it doesn't have to stay at the restaurant for them. So then they can still be reminded of how great of an experience they had at your restaurant hours later whenever they're eating whatever it was that they got from you. But what I'm doing is a strawberry and goat milk taffy. It's going to be kind of cool because I'm going to take the strawberries and blend them and do all that stuff and then make a taffy out of that. And then I'm going to make the, you probably saw the goat milk powder that I have over there.
No.
I'm going to put that into into another thing of taffy and then try to get as much goat milk flavor out of it as possible, and then do like a little twisted taffy kind of thing. So it'll be red on one side and hopefully more white on the other.
Okay.
So there'll be that.
Cool. That was goat milk tastes like.
It's just a more sweeter milk.
Oh, okay.
So, and usually goat cheese and strawberries go well together. So that's what I was going to like play on a little bit with that. And it was only going to be like maybe 2 or 3 pieces of taffy per thing, but also one of the other guys that we do, he does chocolates, so he's going to do chocolate bonbon things and have his own flavors with that, and we're doing some foraging, which is pretty cool. But then the dish that I have on there is going to be pork with like peas and like what else was there? Pork with peas, asparagus, some sort of prosciutto, like some sort of salty meat, and then I actually need to talk to a guy later on today about this. Have you ever experienced a volcano? The volcano smoke machine? So basically what I'm gonna do, and I need to talk to him to see if it'll he will let me use his, because they're like $400 fucking dollars. They're expensive. But it's basically have you ever seen like the Sugar Show fucking podcast or whatever he does? You never really watched him.
No.
He has one on there too. And so it's a bag. And so it's usually used for cannabis, but you'd put your weed in there, and then you'd put this little bag thing on top that has a little nozzle, and it fills it up.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're
And
talking
then
about.
you would hit it like that. So one of my friends actually has one, and I'm going to see him later on today. And I'm going to see if he will let me use that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take lavender, and I'm going to put it inside of that, get the bags going, and then if I can find enough pillowcases, I'm going to take that, seal it, so then the lavender stays in there, and then take a syringe and pop like 3 holes in it. And so then once it comes out to the people's table, there will be a soft pillow in front of them of the scent, and then they put the plate directly on top.
Huh.
So the weight from the plate is going to push all of the lavender scent out.
Huh.
So
That could be pretty good.
it'll be fun.
Nice.
It'll be a fun experience for people. And I always think that that's a cool thing to do with restaurants, is like have theatrical stuff that are memorable for people, so that they can come back to it and be like, oh, last time we had this, it was really cool. They did this, this, and this.
Yeah, it's more than just the food.
Yeah.
And that's what fine dining is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's about the experience.
Yeah.
More than the food, really.
Yeah. It is a fun time. I think we'll do good. I got to work on my stuff a little bit more though. But yeah.
I mean, at least I'd say like going outside of yourself and like helping the community and like doing things for that. At least you found something in your like niche, your hobby or your career or whatever that you came from that's beneficial to people, and it's like actually gonna, make a difference.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I hope so. I'm always curious what those types of things get spent towards though. Like how it makes me wonder like how that type of stuff works, where it's like, yeah, we're raising money for a charity for people that are in restaurants with drugs and alcohol addiction, but anytime I've worked in restaurants, I have never seen somebody
go to rehab
or benefit from something like that.
Right.
So I mean,
yeah, like where's it going? Yeah,
where's it?
What are we doing?
What is it doing?
What's the program?
Yeah, so like, that's what I was wondering
about every fucking charity, dude.
Like I don't. You have to have an accepting audience for that to even happen, and if the people aren't there to accept whatever you're trying to give them,
right?
What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I've always been curious about that.
I've always said that about like every charity. I'm like, if I ever ran a charity, I would be directly hands-on. Like I would not pass it off to somebody, because I want to know exactly where the money is being spent. I want to make sure it's being spent on the things that it's supposed to be being spent on, not being wasted. Like I want to get the most bang for my buck.
Yeah.
Like realistically, I guess it's not my buck, but like people's buck, it's hard-earned money from other people that they're being generous enough to give away to help someone else. I want to make sure that it's helping somebody.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that I don't doubt the charity that we're using or anything like that. It's just that I've never seen anything used in that way. Working in restaurants.
That's a tough one. Like we just talked about, like you can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. So it's like, do they have like a list maybe of people who actually need assistance already, or like how that works, or even just doing the charity itself could bring, somebody with those problems in and say, oh shit, hey, I like what you guys are doing here. I really want to help myself. Like, how do I get how do I get on this list, or how do I get involved?
Yeah. So, and I mean, that would be great. Like that's honestly what we want, is just whoever needs the help can get it. And so that would be amazing for people to actually reach out and do that kind of stuff.
Dude, I think about all the time, like, there's 330 million people in this country, in just the United States alone. Who knows about how many undocumented people are here? Imagine if like 40 million people gave $1 every month. $1.
Yeah.
That's $40 million a month. Imagine the change that we could do in this country with everyone giving $1.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you could probably end homelessness in like 2 fucking years.
But you also have to have the people willing to, that are given that, to be willing to want to end their homelessness.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Like, that would be that'd be the opposite end.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I would really hope that somebody in that situation would really want to see their life in a different way.
Even that, yeah, 'cause it's hard. Like you're saying, like, okay, let's talk about like child hunger, for example. How do you raise a bunch of money or whatever, but like, are you going to give it to the parents or whatever that are already poor? Or how do you know that they're feeding their kids and they're just going to smoke the money away or whatever?
Well, that, and like, you give them money for the food, but you don't give them money for the actual problem.
Right.
Like,
teach a man to fish.
They're hungry. You give them money for food.
Teach a man to fish.
You don't give them a better job. You don't give them anything else.
That's what I said about, dude. That's what I said about our church. Yeah, that's what I said about our church. They're always like giving, like, don't get me wrong, I love our church. They're awesome as fuck. But like they're always trying to help people, which is great. But it's like by giving stuff away, like giving this, giving that, giving this. Okay, that like doesn't fix the problem. Like, we have to teach these people how to fend for themselves. It literally says it in the Bible, I think, right? Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime, or give a man a fish, feed him for a day. I think that's in the Bible. I don't know. So that's like the same scenario. You can't just like give people stuff. You have to give them a way to provide for themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's how I'd like end world hunger. And I'm like, yeah, but to do that, you do give them food, yes, but to do that, you have to go farther than just food.
Right. Teach them about agriculture, set up irrigation systems.
You have to do a lot more than just giving them food.
That's what I said about inner cities, dude. And I'm like, we could solve the problem of inner cities very easily. You come in, you know, you're going to have to be harsh. You're going to have to kick some doors in, arrest some drug dealers, arrest some gangbangers, clear out all the crime, okay? And then the government hires local union contractors that are construction companies, go in, tear down all the old infrastructure, okay? But make it to where wherever city they're in, they have to start an apprenticeship program for residents of that city so that they can come in, learn on the job how to learn a new trade while they're improving their city. So you're improving the city, giving people a skill, giving people money, okay? And then the government could sell the buildings back at cost plus like 2%, 3% interest just to make something off of, you know, the investment. But you could literally fix city by city by doing that.
Yeah.
And you're telling me if I can think of that, no one else can think of that? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
They don't want to fix the shit.
Yeah.
Period. They don't want to fix it. I mean, they don't want to teach people how to do things, because why? That means you're not dependent anymore. The government needs you to need them.
Yeah.
Or else the system does not work.
And like, that's one thing I hope the charity that I'm doing actually helps with other people, is puts them in a different environment and puts them in a spot that like can actually benefit them. Like, the money that we raise, hopefully it can go towards like better AA meetings or whatever it may be, or whatever they need for that. That's helping whoever it may help. But
a new location, man, like, it's the biggest thing. Get away from the old people you used to hang out with, get away from where you stay. Like, if that's what you need to do, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. And so hopefully like this can kind of pull people away from that. Like, know that if you're working in restaurants and like all your buddies go out and do all this stuff, instead of going out to the bar every night,
go to the gym.
Either get yourself a membership at the gym, or I don't know, go home.
Yeah.
Just go home.
Right.
Like, just, you're going to have to say no.
Yep.
Like, and there's been so many times in the restaurant industry where I've literally told people, no, like, I'm not going to do this. I mean, for the longest time, didn't do cocaine. I was offered it a lot, but I didn't do it. And then eventually,
Oh, you did.
Until I did.
You get asked enough.
Then I did.
Yeah.
But until I did, but then even then it didn't stick. And
Yeah.
so, but there would be so many times where I'd be offered things like that, and I would be able to say no.
Dude,
And there's other people that can't necessarily do that kind of stuff, and they need that kind of help. And so hopefully this can help them change their mindset on what they are doing and anything like that. Or if they're already in that process, they can stay with it.
I mean, that's a good point. Like, yeah, it's a mindset thing. It's literally a mindset switch, because like you have to say no. And like, if you're stuck in that mindset of saying yes all the time, it's not going to matter. Cause like, dude, I remember when my sister first started dating the guy she's with now, they'd go out to the bar like every fucking weekend. And like, so I first met him and I went out with them once and I was like, yo, this is fun as fuck. They're like, yeah, come out next weekend. Like I went out again with them the weekend after that. And I was like, yo, come out again with us, and I'm like, dude, I fucking cannot do this. Like I had to slow down. I'm like, yo, I'm like going out of control right now. I cannot do this all the time. Yeah. Like it's just not good for me. I'm not in the spot in my life where I want to be, to where I can have that fun. Like to me, I have to earn that. That's just the mindset that I have. Like I have to earn that.
Yeah.
What makes me get to go out and party every weekend when I'm living in a fucking trailer, paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
There's a lot of people that go out and party every week and celebrating nothing.
Celebrating getting through their fucking 40-hour work week. That's it.
Woo.
That's all they're doing. And I mean, it sucks to be that brash and to like say that type of shit, but like that's what people need to hear. What are you doing?
Yeah, there's nothing to celebrate.
Yeah.
Like, cool, you did the bare minimum.
Right. Literally.
Like, I'm not saying don't go out and have a beer, whatever it may be, like, that's fine, do you? But, like, you got to, like, reflect on what you're doing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it worth doing it? Do you see this, like, benefiting you in the long run?
Right.
No. Usually never. There's no nutritional value in alcohol. There is nothing. It actually does worse for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you, like, for example, I work out all the time and do all that kind of stuff. Did I drink last night? Yeah. I had I think I had 1 cocktail and 2 beers throughout the whole night. And it wasn't terrible. And I don't do it very often.
Right.
Like I can literally go months without alcohol. It doesn't matter to me.
Same.
Like I don't feel like I have to go to the store and find a 6-pack of beer or anything like that, or go out and do anything with other people. I could literally go to a pool table, which is always at a bar, and literally just say, hey, could I get a soda or water instead?
Right.
It's very easy for me to do. Other people, it's not.
Or even 1 beer, man. There's nothing wrong with 1 beer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with 1 beer.
Yeah, you can literally, like,
I'll do that.
I would say 1, 2, maybe even 3, but it also depends on how often you're doing it too.
Yeah.
If you're doing that every single night, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it like
once a week,
right. Maybe once every 2 weeks, that's fine.
Right. You go play pool once a week, you get a beer.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But like, also you have to understand what you're doing to yourself. And if you are like me and are working out, you have to know that anytime you are drinking or doing anything like that, you're going to make up for it. Mm-hmm. Your body wants to make up for that. And for me, my goal is to gain weight, put on muscle, gain weight. Alcohol has been proven to destroy muscles. And so I know that and I understand that. And so if I drink alcohol, I know that I'm doing that to myself. And so does that line up with the goals that I have? No, it does not. But I don't think that having 1 or 2 beers is going to necessarily kill my muscles.
Right.
So you just have to understand and know what you're doing to yourself and be okay with that. And if you're okay with the massive amounts of drinking, there might be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said the other day too, like on my first podcast. Like if you can genuinely, you're doing whatever you're doing and you go home at night and you're genuinely fine with how your life is, more fucking power to you. I can't say anything to you. If you're actually happy and that's what you do It is what it is. But I feel like for the majority of people, that's not the case.
No,
Like,
especially with drugs and alcohol.
yeah, they're
Like,
just,
and that spills over to other relationships that you have.
everything is give and take.
Like if you, that's honestly with addictions in general, not just drugs and alcohol.
Video games.
Video games can spill over into your other parts of your life.
Dude, how
like,
many fucking TikToks do you see, or like reels or whatever, of like some dude sitting on the computer and his girlfriend's behind him trying to get his attention, or like she's coming up. Dude, it's a huge problem in relationships, video games specifically.
I was gonna say, like, there's so many different things that could do that.
I'm guilty of that.
Excessive eating,
Yeah.
that can be an addiction.
Yep.
And that can be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, because now you're not taking care of your weight. Now you're having health issues. Now you're having all these issues that are directly related to your diet.
Can't play with your kids. Can't do.
You can't do certain things anymore. Your kid wants to run and kick the soccer ball or something like that, and you're over there struggling so hard to even do that.
Can't even put your fucking socks on.
Yeah, like hardly bend over. Like
people look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, you know, you're skinny or whatever." Like when I'll be like 180. Okay, for me on my frame, 180, I'm over fucking weight. Like it literally is a struggle for me to put my socks on. Like it's a struggle for me to put my shoes on. I don't get how people are walking around at 350 pounds, at fucking 400 pounds. Like, bro, how are you able to do that? I am struggling to do the most simple things when I'm like 20 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Like I could not imagine living a life where I'm 200 pounds overweight.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Yeah.
And like that's
miserable.
I don't know how people do it. Like, I mean, even with me working out, my mobility not as good.
Yeah.
Like bigger muscles, you have a worse mobility.
For sure.
You cannot touch certain parts of your body anymore.
Yeah.
Like whenever I do these, they're called JM. It's some tricep curls, and basically you bring your arm back and do this, and it feels weird whenever my forearm or my forearm is touching my bicep like this. I'm like, dude, my mobility has been terrible. Like I used to be able to bend my arm way farther back, and that's because my bicep muscles are building.
Right.
But
also, are you stretching?
No, not really.
And doing like yoga and shit to maintain mobility? You should maybe do that.
Oh, with these 22s right here, bro. Not much space for that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, I mean, those videos are hilarious of like bodybuilders trying to touch their back and shit. It's so funny as fuck.
And so, like, I could only imagine what that feels like as a bigger person.
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
Bro. Well, I already can't say that. It doesn't help.
Yeah, I don't got an inch to lose, dude. I cannot put an inch on this belly. We'll be struggling.
But, like, I mean, being able to put my shoes on should not be a struggle.
Right.
Like, or something simple like that. And that could affect your relationship with your kid.
Dude, with your spouse. Yeah.
And other things like that. Like, your health can affect your relationship with other people. And so it's like, oh, now I have to go to the doctor every so many months. This person has got to go call off work, and I need them to ship me to my fucking doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Because I can't make it. So it's like, that's where health and stuff like that boils over into other relationships. So it's like you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that your addiction to food is not killing you.
Mm-hmm. There was a video, man. I wish I knew what it was, because Cora sent it to me. And it was just like a guy like being a kid, and his mom like gave him McDonald's or whatever, and he like grew up and kept eating like trash, and he was like fucking super overweight, and it showed him like in the hospital. And they're like, yeah, you're going to fucking die of a heart attack if you don't change. But he had like a kid, and it showed him like not being able to play with his kid and dying early and all this stuff. And it's like people like literally are not thinking. Everyone, it seems like, only thinks about the now.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about down the road. And I don't know what has caused that so much, because I feel like people in the past were more future oriented and like more conscious of that. Like, think about all the older generation, man. A lot of them, they're still doing the same shit they were doing before.
Yeah.
Like, my grandpa's 81 years old, worked, and he probably still working to this day. Like, they didn't fall victim to, I guess, the easiness of society, like the way that we've gotten with food and like being lazy. Honestly, it's being lazy. Netflix and, video games and not being active and not.
I mean, whenever your grandpa would have been growing up, processed foods was still there. They weren't like
They didn't have all the same
predominant.
chemicals either.
And like there probably wasn't as many of them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could sit there and
Well, think about McDonald's, for example. When McDonald's first came out,
it was like, I think the 80s.
yeah, it was like regular beef.
Yeah.
Like it was actual real fucking food.
Yeah.
Now it's like, who knows what's in a McDonald's patty?
Yeah. And like, there's that. There's like, I mean, you go to the grocery store. I mean, obviously they had canned stuff. There was a lot of sodium and whatnot for them growing up and whatnot, but there's not, I mean, you can go back and look at when Twinkies were made, which is probably still around whenever your grandpa was growing up and whatnot, but like there are so many different things that have happened since then till now. And like, I mean, that's another big thing, is how many companies have came out with processed foods and stuff like that and whatnot. So
That's all it is, dude. All we do is consume.
yeah,
It's disgusting. Yeah, it's disgusting. Like sometimes I'll have these like, I don't know. The last time was probably I got super roasted and went to like the mall, and I'm like walking around the mall and I'm looking at all these fucking stores and I'm like, why? Why do we have all this shit? For what reason?
The one thing that I think should be illegal in America, foods that target children.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's fucking bullshit. There's no reason for that. Because, like, I mean,
Well, that's how you get them, bro.
the kid is born into a society that benefits directly to them, but what they're being benefited is not good.
Yeah.
So it's like, when's the last time you saw an apple being benefited towards a kid? You don't.
Like being pushed on them.
Yeah. You don't see that.
Yeah, being advertised.
You don't see any sort of advertisement on that.
It's grooming.
Yeah.
That's what do groomers do? They get you while you're young.
And I will say that that is probably one of the bigger parts of your grandpa's thing, like with their eating and how long they're living and stuff like that. Because, like, I mean, whenever he was young, did he have foods that actually targeted him?
No, they didn't have fucking TV, I don't think.
Yeah,
Well,
I was gonna
they had
say.
like the old TV, but people didn't have it. It wasn't like everyone in America had a fucking television. Like
Yeah.
if you had a TV, you were doing
doing
pretty good. Yeah.
They didn't have that
And even
kind
if
of
they
stuff.
didn't have advertisements at that time.
Yeah. And so whenever food started targeting children more than the actual nutrition of the food, that's whenever it became a huge problem.
Bro, it's everything. Everything is now targeted toward children.
So like now it's like, for
Toys,
example,
food.
whenever we were growing up, Go-Gurts
Yeah.
came out.
Dude, hell yeah.
They were delicious for us. Like, I mean, they tasted great. Were they good? Were they good for us? No.
I never ate it, but
They were sugary as fuck.
yeah.
But
Straight.
any sort of pop culture was slapped right on there.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Mountain Dew. They did the same shit with Halo.
Yep.
They would always like, oh, Halo's a big game now, blah, blah, blah. Kids are drinking all these sugary drinks and stuff. And then it's like, oh, well, let's slap Master Chief on the thing so we can get a couple more sales
Dude,
done.
I never drank Mountain Dew. Ever drank Mountain Dew. When they came out with the World of Warcraft, fucking blue and orange Mountain Dews.
Yeah.
Oh, you better believe I was smashing some Mountain Dew, dude.
Yeah. So it was targeting people.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You don't have nutritional food targeting people.
No. Hell no, it's not fun. It's
You
not
don't have
sexy.
asparagus out there fucking in a mascot. Like,
Right.
come on, eat me, kids. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
No.
They don't do that shit at all. Why would they?
Yeah, it doesn't benefit them.
Doesn't benefit them. They
Doesn't
don't.
make the corporations money. Doesn't make the pharmaceutical companies money. It doesn't.
And the problem is that also kids don't look at asparagus and be like, I want that, Daddy.
Exactly. It's not sexy.
No, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But it's like that Go-Gurt that has Paw Patrol on it. Oh, we know Paw Patrol.
Mhm.
That sounds good. Here, let's get that.
I mean, dude, it could literally be as simple as taking a fucking bag of apples and, like you're saying, throwing a Paw Patrol fucking
Yeah.
dog on
You don't
a
see
bag, and kids would buy it.
Yeah, but you don't see
Don't
it.
see it. Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I'm
wild to me.
Dude, I mean, yeah, we can sit here and talk about like advertising and like targeting kids or whatever, but ultimately, what is the cause of that? Kids don't have fucking money.
No, the
Kids
parents
can't go buy the fucking food that's being, advertised at them. It's the parents.
Yeah.
Parenting is the problem. 1000%.
I agree with that, but I also think that if you have, which I mean, obviously you could speak more for experience than I can since you have children, but for me, it's like your kid wants something so much, they don't stop talking to you about
You
it.
just
They
gotta
don't
tell
stop
them no,
doing
bro.
anything.
You just gotta tell them no. It sucks, but like you just gotta tell them no.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to hate you for a second, or they're going to be mad for a second, but they'll get over it. And I mean, you also have to explain you can't be like, oh, you can't have that. And they say, why? And you're like, because I said so. You have to like literally break it down to them and say, hey, I mean, I emphasize to my kids all the time, you can't have this because it is bad for you. You eat this, you're going to become obese. You're going to get sick. You're going to be worse. You're going to die younger. Like, you literally cannot eat this. It's not good for you. So like, don't get me wrong. I give my kids sugar and shit every once in a while.
You gave them the chocolate thing the other day.
Yeah. Like the Mr. Beast video. Yeah. Like, we do stuff like that. You know, Easter, Halloween, they get candy. I give them candy. I just portion it out and say, you're going to get one piece here, one piece there. I don't let them have free reign, do whatever. Like last night, he had cinnamon rolls. They had breakfast for dinner. He had eggs, bacon, and he ate some cinnamon rolls. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Not the greatest thing in the world, but you had some eggs, you had some bacon. Like, you at least got some protein, you got some stuff good for you. You had something nutritional before you had the trash. And like today, he wanted a popsicle. Before I left for work, I'm like, okay, you eat your eggs. Let's do our push-ups, do our squats. I was like, then you can have a popsicle. And the popsicles I buy like the, I think they're like Outshine or Fruit Shine or some shit like that. The green box.
Yeah.
They're made out of like natural fruit. I checked the ingredients on them. Like, they're not good for you, obviously, but they could be worse. So like, I go with the healthier alternatives to junk food.
Yeah.
And like, I even limit like muffins and pasta and stuff like that, bread. We don't consume a ton of that stuff because it's not good for you. Like fast food, we used to be worse about it, but like, even then I wouldn't give them a ton of fucking McDonald's. I didn't give them, we just don't do it.
I was gonna say, I remember when Desmond was young, you guys pretty much gave him a bunch of fruits and stuff.
Yeah, that's all he had.
Vegetables.
Yeah. For the longest time.
For.
Yeah, then we fucked up giving him like any sort of candy when he was like 3 or 4, and it was like, you know, just downhill from there. But
like, I mean, you got to live a little bit. Like, you got to have some fun while eating. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally, before this, I literally had an orange soda.
Yeah.
Do I drink it all the time? No.
Yeah.
No.
It's fine to indulge occasionally.
Yeah. And it's something you enjoy, you have fun. Like, life shouldn't be boring. Life shouldn't be shitty. Like, if your life has to be shitty for you to like be healthy or anything like that, then why? Like, there's no fun. There's no fun in that.
I mean, I do love the flavor of food, but like, I'm not gonna lie to you. When the day comes that they can put all the fucking nutrition that I need inside of a fucking pill and it's the same as food, I will gladly take that pill. If it means that like I can be 100% healthy, be like, you know, low body fat, good muscles, fucking shred. It's like everything that I need to be like peak shape. I'm going in full, dude, full. I will forget food. I don't even need it. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, but for me, it's like literally just fuel. Yeah. That's all it is.
I mean, I enjoy eating, honestly. Like, I try to find things that I do enjoy, but like a lot of the stuff, well, for one, this is another reason why I advocate for people going to the gym just in general. Like, you change your environment, you change your habits altogether. Like, if you go to the gym and you know that you're working out, you're busting your ass, you're doing everything that you want to do, you're going to think twice about the shit that you buy.
Yep.
And like, know that it's putting you back from what you're trying to do. And so things like that. And so that can stem directly from going to the gym and from just trying to eat better, do things like that, sleep better, whatever it may be, whatever habits that you're trying to build that are good for you, it's going to go over into other parts of your life like that. So it's like, before I could sit there and drink sodas all the time and do stuff like that. But now I'm more like, okay, I don't want to drink that soda anymore because that doesn't line up with what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So I'm going to limit myself from everything that's bad for me. Like, I mean, last night I did have a pizza from Schnucks.
Hell yeah.
But the last time I had a pizza like that, maybe like a month ago. So that's not bad.
Right.
It's not bad. I mean, I got fruits sitting over there right now, waiting to blend those bad boys up for the week. But other than that, like, I mean, I think that all of that stems from the gym. I wouldn't be eating as well as I am or doing anything like that if I did not have a goal at the gym.
Yeah, because you care about your body now.
Yeah.
You care about what you're putting into it. And you know, hey, I just went to the gym for an hour. If I drink this fucking soda, guess what? I'm going to have to go to the gym for an hour tomorrow, which I was already going to do. And then I'm going to have to do even more just to burn that soda off.
Yeah.
Not worth.
And there's the fact that I always talk to people about small goals. Small goals is big. Like, it's one of the biggest things. And it's something that I've mentioned before on to reach your bigger goal in life, you have to be happy with the small goals.
Yep.
So it's like, if you are trying to lose weight, and let's say you go to the gym for a whole month and you lose 2 pounds, but that's not your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to lose 25 to 50 pounds. Be happy for those 2 pounds. Celebrate the 2 pounds that you got, because then now that's going to drive you to do more the next month. And you're going to want to lose more weight doing that. And once you start seeing those results, it's not going to be an instant 25 pounds. It's not going to be an instant 50 pounds. So that's not going to work. But you have to celebrate the smaller goals to get to your bigger goal.
Yep.
So it's like, even if it's you going to the grocery store and being like, I'm going to pass on the soda. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drink water instead. That is a small victory.
Yeah.
You stopped yourself from buying whatever it was that is bad for you. So that is a small victory in my eyes. And so you do that enough times, you build good habits.
Yep, it's compounding. There's a book called Atomic Habits. Have you ever read it?
No.
Oh, dude, I highly suggest it. It's on Spotify for free if you're like a member. And he talks about compounding habits like that. Like you said, every small one adds up over the thing. And then another thing he stressed was setting, if you make a goal, okay, and you have no small goals lined up from start to finish of how you're going to get to this end goal, you don't have a goal. No. You have a dream that you're never going to achieve, because you don't know how to get there. So what you're saying is very important. Like, you have to set up these small spots, these little milestones, so that you can celebrate, because, dude, we're human beings. Dopamine rush. I achieved something. Fuck yeah. I feel good. Feels awesome. Like, you need those to keep you going. Like you said, you go to the gym, you come home. Oh, you look at your arms. Dude, my arms are getting bigger. My chest is getting bigger. My stomach's getting smaller. That's going to drive you to keep going. Yep. You might not be the fucking bodybuilder that you want to be yet, but you're getting there. You can see progress.
And the one thing that I always stress with people with working out and things like that is, for one, stop looking at the scale. That's a big thing. Do not look at scales, because like the only time I do it is at the end of a month. The last day of the month, I will look at a scale and just see what I did this whole month and see if it paid off or see if it did not. If it did not, does it suck? Yeah. Like, I mean, I messaged you the other day and I said I was 175 pounds. Was that what I wanted? No. I want it to be bigger. But is it more than what I was last month? Maybe like 2 pounds more.
Hey, 2 pounds.
But it's 2 pounds. And it's like, yeah, it sucks. But if I was to go into the gym every single week and weigh myself out and see that I was not gaining anything, I would be less motivated to actually go in again. And so that's why I'm like, get rid of scales. Don't look at them so often. The one thing I would suggest for people trying to gain or lose weight is look at the size of your shirts.
Yeah.
If you're trying to lose weight and you feel like they're getting bigger on you, that's a good sign. If you're trying to gain weight and your shirts are getting a little tight here, right. Then it's a good sign.
I mean, that's what I do. I don't use shirts, but I don't really care about the scale, because muscle weighs more than fat. So who knows, you've been working out or whatever, and say you're trying to lose weight and you go step on the scale and you weigh the same. You're going to be thinking, oh, what the hell? I didn't lose any weight. Yeah. I look in the mirror. Like, how do my arms look? How does my stomach look? I go off by body composition. I'm paying attention to my body and how it looks all the time. So that's what I use. I don't care about this. I don't care what the scale says.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach a certain aesthetic.
And there's also a reason why gyms have mirrors everywhere. So you can see yourself.
Right.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Not looking at a scale.
Yep.
Because like another thing is that saturated fats are still fat and you can't see them, but they do put on weight too. So it's like, you might not necessarily look your body weight, but you might have a bunch of saturated fat in there and it's a couple pounds more.
Right.
Which is probably my case.
Yeah. All right, dude. We're going on like 3 hours combined here. We're going to
have to edit that a little bit.
No, I'll let it run to 3 hours, but I don't know if I want to go much over that. I think we're at 140 right here, and then we got 120 on the other one, so it's like at 3 hours. As long as I can upload it all, I'm going to upload it in one video. If not, then I'll break it into two and upload it as part one, part two, but I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. But we definitely are going to have to circle back and do another one of these.
Yeah, I want to do
some other stuff.
I think so.
Yeah, there's tons of other shit we could talk
about. There's so many topics.
Yeah, so many topics. You did fucking great, dude. Like, I'm not even going to lie.
It was fun.
You sound good on the mic. You got a good, you got a good flow, good rhythm,
Fuck yeah. And it's our first, the first one together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I think, should we suggest, see if anyone else wants, would you be down to ask an audience on what they think we should talk about?
Yeah, I mean, when I upload these to Spotify, and I mean, YouTube, you can leave comments on YouTube, but on Spotify, there's a question poll, and you can post whatever about the episode. So
I think that would be a great thing for people to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've literally sat and talked with me, you, my brother one time at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings, and we literally had a server come in and be like, I would love to sit here and talk with you guys. You guys are talking about some pretty interesting shit.
Yeah.
And have pretty fun ideas and things like that.
Dude, that is why I wanted to start a podcast, because I've had so many of those conversations and I'm like, it's fucking wasted. I don't want to say it's wasted, but you could be putting them out there. And
it's fun.
It's
enjoyable.
Yes.
Sitting there having intelligent conversations with people is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's very fun to do.
Dude, I literally, I love it.
Especially with people with similar mindsets. I think that's the huge thing on a lot of that stuff is people more intelligent. Well, I can't even say that because that's insulting, but people with a good mindset on certain things can have good conversations. Mm-hmm. And so,
yeah, it doesn't have to be intelligence related.
Yeah.
That's why I messaged a dude on Facebook because he was talking about Norse gods and fucking, stuff like the religion and the Vikings and stuff. And I was like, dude, he's like, yeah, I like history and religion. I was like, I was like, are you local? You want to sit down and have a podcast and just talk about, because I don't know shit about Norse god, beyond Thor and Loki and all that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So to me, I like history. I like religion. That's interesting. I want to sit down, have a conversation with this guy and just listen to him talk about whatever. So you don't even have to be let's say book smart or whatever. You could have a fucking passion project or a hobby or something that you like to do and you really like it. That interests me.
Yeah.
People who are dedicated to things, who are good at things, who really like things and pursue it and stick with it, that interests me.
And have an open mind.
Yeah. Because it's that's special in this day and age.
Yeah. I think that my biggest thing is people that have an open mind, because you can sit there and talk with them about a lot of stuff and they will be willing to take in information that you're giving them. But also when doing that, you got to also make sure that what you're saying is actually the right thing.
Right.
That's why whenever we were talking about the 86 list and stuff like that, afterwards I showed you what it was. I was like, this is legit.
Right.
This is some legit shit.
Right.
And so I think you have to be honest with what you say to those people, but them having an open mind on certain things is great, because that's where you can have great conversation with people, even if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
So
with that being said, though, I do I wouldn't mind okay, so let's just use guns, for example. The people who are anti-Second Amendment, anti-guns. I enjoy having a conversation with them because I want to use logical, real world examples and see how they answer it. And then so I can give a rebuttal. You might not change someone's mind, but maybe they haven't heard that perspective.
If I was to do, for me, if I was to do that with someone, I would still want them to have an open mind. They can be all about guns and stuff, which I am. I fucking love it. That's great.
Yeah, great. Guns are awesome. I'm more towards the anti-gun people.
But for me, yeah, I usually don't listen to them because half their
I just want to know
half of their arguments.
Yeah, exactly. So it's what's your argument? And I want to listen to it, and then I want to kind of poke holes in it and see hey. But then you do realize this doesn't really make sense logically, right?
But that's to me where open-minded people would have to come in, because it's if you do that to somebody that just won't budge on anything,
sure. Yeah,
then it's
but you're giving that person a platform for everyone else who is open-minded to look at that person and go, wow, okay, that guy is one of those people that's part of the fucking problem. They're not open-minded. How many of those people are out there? This guy's making really good points. This person doesn't even give a shit. It's one ear out the other. So it's
yeah, you can
I don't want to say you're kind of making fun of them, but you're using them as an example.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's one thing I never agree with left people in politics. Like, I'm more in the middle. I'm moderate.
Yeah.
Left has some things that are good. Right has some good things that are good.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those left people that sit there and fucking say anything about guns, like, I'm like, nah, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like, you just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, you think that people are just gonna somehow miraculously be nice people.
Right. Be good.
All the guns are gone. All the guns are gone, so we're just gonna be great.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna shoot you anymore.
Right. I'll stab you.
Or
I'll run you over with a car.
Or I'll just get the gun that was not like
stolen gun.
Yeah, that didn't have any sort of records or anything. No
3D printed gun.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy, but
I'll
they can
find
do
a way
that.
to shoot you.
Exactly. Somebody wants to do something, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So why take away everyone? I don't know.
I do agree with them on the one thing though, and that can be stricter gun laws. I can see the point on some of that.
But here's my question. How much do you know about the gun laws? Are you well versed in the gun laws?
I would say I'm not.
On that argument, I've listened to people who are, and the gun laws are actually pretty fucking strict.
I would say I'm not, but I also would say that I've seen Walmart selling guns.
Yeah. But you got to do like background checks. You got to do. There's stuff you got to do.
I've seen a friend literally go up there and get one. Like,
has he been pre-cleared already? Does he do have that?
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, because like
but even then, I don't think that should exist.
What?
Pre-cleared.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Because, like, I mean, what if you went and bought a gun and shot somebody and then went to jail for however many years, came back out, and they're like, well, I mean, back in 2016, you were...
What if you did armed robbery or some shit? Yeah. No, for sure.
2016, you were cleared, so you're cleared now.
Yeah. And then it varies state to state. You could have one state with strict gun laws, the other state doesn't have them, so then people just go to the other state, get the guns, and then bring them back over here.
Yeah, that's what happens in Chicago.
Yeah.
They go to Indiana. Indiana has none.
Yeah. So...
So, yeah, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Well, it was a good chat.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great.
I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
I would definitely be down to come back on.
Yeah. But, all right, guys. We're out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Share it.
Because we
Have
did.
fun.
Yeah. Leave a comment.
Yeah, interact. Throw some comments down and see if there's any other topics you want him or me and him to talk about.
Like I said, I will put his Instagram, Facebook link in there. You guys can check out some of his food stuff or, you know, whatever he posts about.
And the 86 list.
Yeah, buddy.
That is actually about chefs in Chicago.
Yes.
Not anywhere else in Chicago.
Good old Chicago.
But it is a very interesting one.
Yep.
So.
All right, guys. We're out of here.
Bye.